Hari Om. Yeah. Karthik, we will start the live only after I chant Shanti Mantra. Started? Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 We'll start with the chanting of Omkara thrice. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Hari Om. if you look at it from one angle, Vedanta could be deceptively simple. Sometimes it may seem complex, is only because we do not have a clear mind. We do not have clarity of thinking to see the realities. A mind which is highly conditioned cannot see the reality. And conditioning is natural. One cannot do away with it. The fact that one is born into a family, you pick up some conditionings from the family. You're born in a country, you pick up the conditionings from that country, the culture. You're born into a religious tradition, you gather conditionings through that religious culture. You get along with a set of friends, you get conditioned in certain ways. In universities, you engage with ideologies, you pick up some more conditionings. So that is something natural. There cannot be a life living without being conditioned. But Vedanta is only this great knowledge which helps you come out of the conditioning. Ignorance, conditioning is something that is natural, we pick it up. But then there is a solution. We need not live like that. We need not live with complexities. Life can be made simple. Satyam, truth, is that which is simple and most profound. So all we need to do is do away with these conditionings and ignorance, and the reality shines forth. Why? Because reality is what it is. Satyam is. Satyam is that which is ever present, never changing. All we need to do is to focus on Satyam, Sat. A regular mind or ignorant mind is only focused on Nama Rupa. So the whole process of Vedanta, the whole studies, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana of Vedanta is to focus on Sat, is to turn the mind inward, to make the mind introverted in the sense of focusing on Satyam. So you give up the Namarupa, and what is the nature of name and form or Namarupa is that which is constantly changing. It is that which constantly changes. What is the nature of a human being? That which is that person who is always changing. So when you understand the nature of Namarupa, you are not going to be shocked or surprised in the world at all. Sometimes in friendships or in human relationships, even to a family member, a person looks and says, "Well, you have changed." Of course. That's the nature of life. That's the nature of human being. Of course they change. So you look at yourself, the body, in the mirror. My God, so much changes, of course. Changes the nature of Namarupa. But our conditioning is such that we expect changelessness in Namarupa, which can never happen. In fact, this is an insight. What we are seeking all the time is changelessness. But where we are searching for it is a wrong place. What we are searching for is changelessness, but we are searching for it in Namarupa, in the world, with Jagat. Gacchati, gacchati, that which changes forever, that which is going on in these cycles of change forever. We are searching there. Alas, one can never find that. One can never find that. So sadhana of Vedanta is to give up our attention in Namarupa and turn towards Sat. Contemplation, Prathasmarana, what we're trying to do in this contemplation is to leave behind Namarupa and focus on Sat. First thing in the morning, even before we become aware of Sat, the presence which is ever there, we superimpose hundreds of things on it. In fact, Swami Tattvavedananda gives this beautiful illustration. What you really sense first is the presence. Observe yourself, what happens as you wake up from the deep sleep. You sense a presence. You are. You have that sense of presence. But on that sense of presence, we immediately, in no time, we superimpose Namarupa. Presence, then you look at the clock and say 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. Time is superimposed on it. You sense the presence as soon as you touch your water glass or water bottle next to the bed, on the bedside table, but in no time you superimpose name and form on it. Okay, water bottle, water glass. And the day goes on. That which is obvious, the presence, the easiness, what is forgotten, and our whole focus is on Namarupa. There is always this background presence. But when you are so involved in Namarupa, you can never see that underlying background presence. Movie cannot be without the screen. But as the movie starts, the projection starts on the screen, you forget that there is even a screen when you sit in the theater. Our whole focus is on Namarupa. Just a projection, just a play of lights and sound. There is no content to that. There's no content there. Just a show. So, the whole contemplation is to lose the focus, lose our sense of reality in Namarupa, and that happens only when you start paying attention to the real. Atma Anatma Viveka, the most essential qualification, the most essential sadhana, the bread and butter of Vedanta, or roti and ghee of Vedanta. So that becomes the entire sadhana. So yesterday we saw the first verse, Prathasmarami hridi samsphuradatma tattvam. Shankaracharya uses very beautiful word, hridi, heart. Where do I contemplate? Heart. Heart, hridi. Hridaya is also a very beautiful word in Sanskrit and has great relevance in Vedanta. The word here, when we use in Vedanta, has its background in Dahara Vidya in the Upanishads. So that Dahara Vidya, Acharya is drawing inspiration from Dahara Vidya of Upanishads and saying and bringing heart as a place to meditate. It has a deeper connotation in the sense, you see, brain is the seat of thinking. Contemplation is not to start a new line of thinking now. It may seem like that, okay, now I'm thinking about my tasks, what is to be done, where should I go, what should I do. So from that line of thinking, now you come to focus on thinking about Atma. One may misunderstand contemplation is to contemplation to think that in contemplation we have to think about Atma. Well, Atma is not an object to think about. Atma is not an object to think about. So it is there is a story associated with King Janaka and Ashtavakra. It is said Janaka was on the banks of a river and loudly saying, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. And sage Ashtavakra is walking nearby and he says, O king, you are not going to know Atman, you are not going to realize Brahman by just chanting or repeating Aham Brahmasmi. Janaka, being a very evolved student, recognizes a teacher and offers pranams and says, "O master, I would like to learn from you." And then the teaching of Ashtavakra starts. It is one of the stories. There are many stories associated with Ashtavakra Gita. This is one of the narratives. So contemplation is not to start another line of thinking that Atma is an object. Atma is not the object. It is the very nature of the subject, you. So Hridaya, Hridi, is a deeper place than thinking, than even emotions. You sense something. I often think about it. I feel heart, in fact, is a sense organ, not just a physical organ which pumps blood. It may have deeper significance. Maybe medical science will research more, and after a few years they may have some more insights about heart. Because you see, experientially, if you know, medically they have another theory. I'm not talking about it. Experientially, when you look at your own life, how you feel and experience, in every deeper aspect of life, somehow you tend to associate that with heart, even in language. His or her words touched my heart. His sharp words pierced my heart. And the moment somebody says, who is it? Who did this? Some dish is cooked very well, and you are outside, and somebody says, "Who did I?" You touch your heart. You don't say I. Who did it? You don't say I did it. You say I did it. So there's a deeper connotation even in your experience. A deeper aspect of you gets expressed in heart. So the place of contemplation is heart. The first literal meaning would be the physical heart, but then you must understand what we are talking is not just physical heart, but a deeper place of contemplation. To transcend thinking. So contemplation is not thinking, to come out of thinking and dwell in a deeper state, deeper aspect. That is Hridaya. So place of contemplation, how contemplation is to be done, how it varies from just thinking or upasana is in this way. You are dwelling in deeper aspect of your own self, not the body, not the mind, not the thoughts, not the intellect, but the fundamental you, which is but the presence, Sat. So that is what the whole approach to the contemplation is. Now let us look at the second verse. You may chant after me. Page number 2 in the handout. I don't know, this seems a new handout. Okay. 14. Okay. Pratharbhajami Manasa vachasa magamyam Vacho vibhati Vacho vibhanti ನಿಖಿಲ ಯದನುಗ್ರಹೇಣ ಯನ್ನೇತಿ ನೇತಿ ವಚನೈರ್ನಿಗಮಾ ಅವೋಚುಃ ಯನ್ನೇತಿ ನೇತಿ ವಚನೈರ್ನಿಗಮಾ ಅವೋಚುಃ ತಂ ದೇವದೇವ ತಂ ದೇವದೇವಮಜಮಚ್ಯುತ ತಂ ದೇವದೇವಮಜಮಚ್ಯುತಮಾಹುರಗ್ರ್ಯಂ ಪ್ರಾತರ್ಭಜಾಮಿ. So another expression, Prathasmarami, Pratharbhajami, and in the next verse, Pratharnamami. So all three words are indicating contemplation. Bhajami here doesn't mean to start bhajans. Not early morning I do the bhajans about Atma. No, there are no bhajans about Atma. Pratharbhajami is indicating of early morning I contemplate, I meditate upon. I meditate upon that manasa vachasa magamyam, that which cannot be reached through the mind and the words. Acharya Shankara is drawing inspiration for this verse from Taittiriya Upanishad. In the Upanishad, the famous Vakya, Yato vacho nivartante aprapyamanasa saha. The Upanishad is saying this Atma Tattva, this Brahman, cannot be gained or reached through the words or even with the mind. Then you may ask a question, Swamiji, what are we sitting and doing and listening? You keep talking. All these words and words are printed, and words are sitting in the bookstore and the libraries. And how do you make sense of these kind of statements in the Upanishad? So Upanishad statements in these Upanishads have to be explored and understood. Atma, if you are thinking that it is an object, it can never be reached by mind and the words because it's not an object. If you look at words, language, they have great power, but they do have their limitation also. So what is the power of the word? Any object, it can designate, it can give it a nama and indicate. But how do you now handle Atma Tattva, your own very nature, which is not an object? So, in the whole teaching, in the whole methodology of teaching, or you want to call it Sampradaya, Atma, even the very word Atma, is just a temporary indicative designation. Do not think of it as some object. We need to use words, but then the very words, the word meaning, the literal meaning of it is negated, and what it is indicating, what is the implied meaning, lakshana artha, lakshyartha, that is grasped. So how the Vedanta method works is, it uses words and the very method negates the word. The very method negates the concept, because Atma is not a word, not even a concept. It is you. It is our true nature. So I contemplate early in the morning upon that Atma Tattva, which is not available for words and the mind to conceive of it as an object. to conceive of it as an object. So how easy it would have been, in the sense, if Atma was to be an object, and Vedanta would be just simple. So A for apple, instead of that you change A for Atma. You just show that. Or that's why people, because it is abstract, it is you, it is unlike anything that you are aware of in our educational qualifications or the world, the mind cannot deal with abstracts and complexities or something profound. It immediately wants to make some meaning of it, because that's how we are wired. Evolutionarily, if you observe the mind is, whole human body is structured just to survive. Just to survive. To survive, you have to make immediate meaning of your situation and context. It has a deep evolutionary connotation. The ancient human being was in the forest. We say ancient, but in the evolutionary scale, 40,000 years is nothing. 40,000 years, 30,000 years, 5,000 years are nothing in the evolutionary time scale. So this ancient human being in the forest has to make an immediate meaning of the sensory input or whatever is the situation to survive. That mind sees a rope, that ancient human being sees some kind of a rope or an object which resembles the snake. That ancient mind, human mind, and even it's still there sitting in portion of our brain, immediately says it is snake. Because if you try to make sense, any other sense there, if it was to be real snake, it will bite you and you'll be dead. So you got to survive. Immediately, you have to interpret the situation, save your life. You are in a situation, the brain comes up with worst case scenario, that's why, to survive. So in Vedanta also, in your effort to inquire about life, wherever there is some abstract, wherever there is something, you come across something which is unlike anything that you know of, immediately mind wants a simplistic interpretation of it. So Atma, okay, let me make it as an object, so that I can immediately gain a sense of meaning. Okay, I know it, I understand it, I know it. So designate it or categorize it as another object. So here, this is where you got to stay patient with the inquiry, stay patient with Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, not to come to hurried conclusion about yourself. In fact, when we say about Atma, it's not about some abstract sitting somewhere, it is about yourself. So do not make a hurried conclusion about yourself. So your family members may ask, what did you learn in Gurukulam? 3 days you were there, 10 days you were there. So you may want to say hurried conclusion about it. Okay, this is like this. You know, Atma is Brahman. And we have to know through Vedanta. That's why we have to study. Some meaning we try to make. That's the way mind works. But stay patient. You may say, I'm exploring self-knowledge. I'm exploring Upanishad. What it is, maybe I do not know fully clearly, but I know for sure it is to do with my own real nature, my own self, which I keep thinking of it as ego, as limited self in terms of body and mind. It is not that, it is something more, something deeper. Manasa vachasa magamyam. So what is the role of all this Upanishad, Shravana, is to take away the ignorance. Ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. So what is the role of the Guru? The Guru Gita says, Guru is like that surgeon who removes the cataract from the eye to help you see the world clearly. So that surgeon, he or she uses this sharp instrument or an ointment to remove that cataract. Wow, our ancients had cataract surgery back then. And makes you see the world clearly. So the whole role of Upanishads, the Guru, is to do away with ignorance so that you see life, world, yourself, Jagat, Ishvara, and yourself. We seem to think as three entities. So you remove this layer and you understand it is one underlying reality everywhere. And you come to see clearly world as Nama Rupa, which is clearly a passing show. You appreciate that. That's all is the role of Guru and Upanishad, to enable you to remove ignorance. Because ignorance distorts your vision of life, your very vision, your very understanding of the world and yourself. It distorts all the time. It makes you think that you are a limited individual. That's why you're always in the survival mode. Always in the survival mode. We need not be. Life has evolved. We have evolved. World has changed. There are plenty of things. At least in the context that we are, there's privilege. We need not be in the insecure mode all the time. So we come to understand life as it is. So for that, you got to do away with the ajnana, ignorance. And from this is where ragadveshas stem from, likes and dislikes. So your view of the world is further constricted and further distorted because you never see the world as it is. You only see the world in terms of your likes and dislikes. You see the ash browns on the counter, you only see it in terms of likes and dislikes. Never for what it is, for what that object is. So, pratar bhajami manasa vachasam agamyam. Through the sadhana of Shravana Manana, we have done away with the ignorance. So, on the seat of contemplation, I focus on that which is unattainable through words and even through the mind. Even through the mind. In fact, Nididhyasana is even transcending your own mind, transcending even the mind. And what is that I'm going to contemplate upon? What is my true nature? Contemplation is just recognition of oneself. In fact, you may think Nididhyasana to start with as something sitting in a place and meditating. It is not that. Nididhyasana is 24/7. It is this clear understanding. You can do it as a practice, no problem. But as you grow, even in the sadhana of Nididhyasana, it is not something you do for a period of time. It becomes your very nature. It becomes your very spontaneous, ongoing sadhana. As even you stand, sit, breathe, eat, talk, it can always be there. Vacho vibhanti nikhila yadanugrahena. I am that, my focus is on that, which enlivens, which lightens up words and even the world through its mere presence. Anugraha means grace, but in this context, you can take it as presence. Through its presence, the words, the world, the mind, everything is lit up. I think Swamiji must be throwing some light in the Kenopanishad class on this aspect. So because of its presence, the words, the world of Nama Rupa, you become aware of all that because of its presence, of whose presence. And that presence is not an abstract or a philosophical category. It is you, as you are. And furthermore, Acharya Shankara is further explaining, Yanneti neti vachanair nigama avochuhu. I am that Atma Tattva. This Tattva, Upanishads, the Vedas speak about it. They show it. They teach this Atma Tattva to us through the method of negation. Yanneti neti vachanair nigama avochuhu. Nigama means Veda. So the Vedas are talking about the very same Atma in terms of neti neti. So this is a very technical, this can be a technical prakriya, can be looked upon in that word. That sense that when Atma is not an object, when you are not an object of senses, how do you indicate it? By negating all that is not Atma, you reveal Atma which is ever present. So you want to, there are few things on this table. You want to indicate the pot. How do you do it? You say, one way is to say, look at it, that pot which is round in shape. Or you can say, that is pot which is not the clock. Pot is that which is not the book. Pot is that which is not the coaster. Pot is that which is not the table. Then what remains is the pot. That's how you recognize it. So now how do you recognize Atma Tattva? You negate all the superimpositions upon it. We tend to think, I am the body. I am not the body. So Upanishads teach you saying, Atma is that which is not the body. Okay, I got it now. One insight, great insight. Okay, Atma is that which is definitely not the body. If through spirituality you are searching for to improve body, then Vedanta is not going to give that. Then what is going to give yoga? We have another sadhana. So not here. So here Upanishad is helping you to discover something deeper, something deeper. So Atma is that which is not the body. Na dehaha. It is not the body. Atma is that which is not the mind, which is not the senses. So that's how you come to appreciate Atma Tattva. Not this, not that. Neti neti. Upanishad says, Atato adeshaha neti neti. No, not this. No. I think that's why our Indian culture must be highly influenced by this neti neti, because immediately we negate anything. Child comes and says, Amma, can I do this? No. Can I study arts? No. Can I study philosophy? No. Can I go for a trip? No. So not. So always no is there at the tip of the tongue. It is said astu should be there at the tip of the tongue. Astu means yes, let it be so. But we seem to have no at the tip of the tongue because Upanishad is always saying no. Teacher always says no. So in the entire formative years of the Gurukulam, my gurus have told me no. My gurus have told me no, not that, not this. Swamiji, can I do this? No. Not useful for your spiritual pursuit. It may have its place in the world, but not for Vedanta. Not for Vedanta. Initially, I came up with some weird thing to Pujya Swamiji. Because Pujya Swamiji used to sing many times, every day in Coimbatore Gurukulam. And he used to make me sing along with him also every day. In the satsang, he'll sing one line and then he'll look at me, I'll be sitting there and then I'll say the next line. And then I got into this thinking, hey, Swamiji is making me sing every day. Let me join music class. I ran it through Pujya Swamiji. He said no. Swamiji said no. It may have its place, but not for Vedanta. It's just contextual. Some relaxation in the satsang, but not as a pursuit in itself. It is not going to lead you to Atma. It may lead you to stage, to perform. No problem in the world. But if you're looking for Atma, not that. Yanneti neti vachanair nigama avochuhu. The Rishi's method is so clear. The Gurus have imbibed the vision so clearly, so they always try to help the Shishya not to take paths which are going to lead you nowhere. Any wrong conclusions that you can make of yourself, Upanishads have already thought about it, the Gurus have already thought about it, so they say, no, not that. Atma an object, no. Can Atma be an experience then? Self-realization, moksha or Atma is this experience that you go into this meditation and you see bright light. Can it be Atma? Upanishads say, no, not that. Why? Because Atma is that which is permanent. Now look at that light experience of the meditation. Is it going to stay like that forever? No, it came. You were engaged with it for 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatsoever, and that light experience in the meditation went away. It was profound. It was beautiful. You're wanting for it more. Sometimes again you sit for meditation. It may come. It may not come. It is just another experience. In Vedanta, you can even equate it to the same light experience of the meditation as the experience that you had when you ate a nice Italian dessert, tiramisu. You ate it, it was wonderful. Wow, such an experience. You go to the same restaurant again, order it second time, chef is changed, you get a bad one. You go searching for it into another restaurant, alas, you may not find it. So Atma is not an experience, not an object, not a state. Not a state. What is it? It's your own true nature. Your own true nature. Dwell in it, dwell on it. Dwell on it through these enquiries of Upanishad, and you come to recognize this true nature of the self. Tam deva deva majamachyuta mahuragryam. So Upanishad is very poetically, Acharya Shankara is poetically designating this Atma Tattva as Tam deva deva. It is the Lord of all gods, God of gods. Again, Upanishadic expression, Shrotrasya Shrotram. An expression. So do not think, okay, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara is there. So God of gods, maybe there is one higher. Atma is overlordship, has overlordship over Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, and make it another new identity, and we may build temple also one more. No, it is not that. It is not that. A poetic expression, that which is the foremost, ajam, that which is the first, presence, is the basis of the entire universe, entire nama rupa, which is beyond all names, which transcends all forms, that which is ever present. I contemplate upon that Atma Tattva. My contemplation is upon that Atma Tattva. So through this, we can gain many insights. This is the contemplation, but what is the teaching, which is but contemplation, is that do not make Atma into another category or an object. You will never find it. You will never find it. And what is the contemplation, contemplative aspect of this teaching? You are witnessing all objects all the time. in every cognition, focus on the easiness rather than the Namarupa. You see a pot. Our whole focus is on the Namarupa. Then what can be the contemplation at this in this very cognition with the background of Vedantic teaching is that you transcend the Namarupa, focus on the presence, easiness. Even in language, we use pot, ease, but we never pay attention to that presence, which is the easiness. So now, focus on that. Vedantic contemplation, even as you engage with the world, is to constantly focus on the present moment. Constantly focus on the present moment. Then Namarupa takes a back seat. And once the Namarupa takes a back seat, nothing can touch you in the world. Nothing can put you down in the world. Nothing can frustrate you in the world. Nothing can make you angry in the world. So the whole contemplation is to shift your focus from Namarupa to presence, which is ever present. So when I was a student in Rishikesh, one is always a student of life. Learning never ends. But in that context, when I was in our Swami Dayananda ashram Rishikesh, there was some time. Swami Tattvavedanji had traveled to Hyderabad, and so for some time, and then I was still in the Rishikesh ashram, and I had some time in my hand. So our elderly Swamiji is there in Rishikesh, Swami Sachidananda, very senior Mahatma, 94 or 95, I forget his age. Swamiji is very loving, always keeping an eye on me, always caring for my needs, and always his attention on me. But I had some free time, I wanted to do something. If I say I want to do something, Swamiji may say no. Or he's so loving and caring, he may put a team behind me and send me wherever I want to go. I was wanting to go to Himalayas. Even though I was in the Ganga, people from the south crave to come there, but I am sitting on the Ganga wanting to go somewhere else because nature of human mind is being never satisfied with anything. So if it is Ganga, no, I want something more. Kya hai, dil mange more. What do you want? Himalayas. So I made a plan. Okay, I want to be near Himalayas, and let me do something. If I ask Swamiji, he'll say no, or send some more people with me. I do not want. I want a solo holiday. So I did not tell him. So I went to up near the mountains, and I was just so happy seeing the beauty of the whole Himalayas, the trees, the nature, the surroundings, so beautiful. So started clicking pictures. Oh wow, such is the glory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, tens, hundreds. After many pictures, this insight came upon me. This is so profound, this is so beautiful. Can I just capture it all through a cell phone camera? I said, it is impossible. I put it down. I took a moment. I was so appreciative of the Namarupa, the trees, the leaves, the mountains, the beauty of it all. When I put the phone down, took a moment, the teachings came into my focus. I separated myself from the Namarupa and started being in the presence. Just noticing the presence, that I am, that everything is, and then you superimpose Namarupa on it. You can just be in the presence. That is the contemplation. It could be in the Himalayas, It could be here and now. Just to focus on the presence, saying, not this Namarupa. I cannot capture it. I cannot, whatever you do, you cannot capture the Namarupa. And give it some time, it will go away. All the leaves will fall. Give it some more time, you are not there, maybe after another 5,000 years, those mountains also won't be there. So we are in the physical body, we are not there, that's why we are not able to appreciate those changing elements. But there is an unchanging you, which is ever present. So we focus on that presence, and that presence, does it have any beautiful color to it? Does it have? No. Namarupa? Yes. Does it have any shape to it? No. Does it have any fragrance to it? No. Does it have any feel to it? No. But what about it? It is something profound. You are. Is there any limitation to it? No, there is no limitation. There is no limitation to it. So that presence, I am. I am that. Pratar bhajami manasa vachasama gamyam. I contemplate upon that which cannot be reached through cell phone cameras, through mind and the words. Cannot do it. I am that. I am that Atma Tattva. Simple, most profound. You dwell more and more on it, your life becomes more and more subtle and profound, more simplistic. You get the trick of the Maya, you understand the trick of the Namarupa. It enchants you, makes you get more and more involved in it. But with this Vidya, you know how to engage with Namarupa, because you are never going to be enticed by it. So you have the full Vidya of the Chakra Vyuha. So Abhimanyu had only half. He knew how to go in and did not know how to come out. We all have that Abhimanyu syndrome. So you know how to go into Namarupa and get complicated in life. You do not know how to come out of it. But this Dahara Vidya, this Atma Vidya shows you how not to get enticed with Namarupa. To know that you are the basis of every Namarupa. You are that screen on which all Namarupas are appearing and giving the show of the life. You are that. Ahamasmi, Sada Bhami. I am that presence which is conscious, which is ever present, and that is the contemplation. That is the contemplation. We will repeat the verse again. Pratar bhajami manasa vachasama gamyam vacho vibhanti nikhila yadanugrahena yanneti neti vachanair nigama avochuhu tam deva deva majamachyutamahuragyam Oh, how does the story complete then? You didn't ask. So the story completes my escaping to Himalayas, is getting a small scolding from Swami Sachidananda that where were you, where did you escape? And the story completes, Tattvavedanji still doesn't know I went there. So, in fact, we need moments, we need for some Vyavaharik things, we may want to capture some photos, videos for our archives of ashram or or for the social media handles to talk about the work we do or what we are trying to do. Somebody gets inspired from nowhere. You never know how the word spreads in today's connected world. We may need all that in that context, but the truth of it, if you really look at it, the moment we are taking a picture, we are letting go of the present moment, wanting to make it into past, to access it in the future, which we never do. At least in the old style, old school photo albums, sometime when the family gathers, we used to look at those photographs. Now everything is on the iCloud. You hardly access it. Nobody has time to look at anything. But somehow, we don't know, there is this FOMO, fear of missing out. Everybody takes picture. I do not want to lose out on capturing the memory. Something which I never access it. There is no time to access it even. So life is like that. Life, if you keep on observing, one of the most ironic things is life itself. The way we live. Life or lifestyle. Our lifestyles are so contradictory and ironic. But with this knowledge, you can traverse through all these ironies, all these contradictions, and then really reach the real goal, which is self-realization, which is but discovering this true freedom within. True freedom within. Let go of the ignorance and all these mental conclusions about oneself and the world just diminishes, is washed out, and you are just simple. And life, you see life in all its glory. That is the freedom. That is the inner freedom. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Yeah. We can